Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday with Salt. Really great to be with you today. This stunning bunch of waratahs is a gift to us from the owners of the property in Sassafras that we just exchanged on last week, and it's very, very exciting. Not only do we have chestnuts and walnuts up at the farm, but we also have waratahs that are growing, and we've got lots of plans for how we want to expand the flower industry up there and just plenty of other ideas. We'll have a new video coming soon for fundraising purposes. And if you would like to donate towards the Salt Wellness Farm, then you can go to our website and donate through that. It's very, very exciting. We'll be settling at the beginning of February, and come March, it's harvest time up there, and we're going to need all of you to come on up and help with the harvest. We're really looking forward to it being a family and a salt community adventure that we're on together. A couple of announcements today. Church won't be going back in the Bomaderry Community Hall until the 5th of December. We've made that decision just because cases are still rising in the Shoalhaven, and we want to be able to open up for everyone, and we want to be able to have a celebration leading into Christmas. And after December, we're allowed to sing as a congregation, and we're allowed to come not wearing masks. So obviously that's going to be a personal decision for everyone, but what a wonderful way to be able to gather together again. In the meantime, we are kicking off small groups, and come 80% vaccination rate, we are allowed to gather as a church. And the expression of our church in the next couple of months will be in the form of small groups. And so we really want to encourage you to hook into the Sunday message that will be streamed just like this one every Sunday at 10 a.m, where we'll be including small group questions as well, so that as a small group you can answer those questions together and stay tracking with Salt and the journey of Salt as a small group community. So if you're not connected to a small group and you would like to be, not all of them have kicked off yet. We've got Coffee and Connect Church for Women, which will be starting in the next couple of weeks, as will Men's Group in the next couple of weeks. And it'll be open to everyone, depending on numbers. We'll keep you posted about that. And if you would like to be part of all of that, reach out, let us know, and we'll make sure that we get all the information to you when it becomes available. Also, if you'd like to donate or bring your tithe or offering to Salt, then you can do that through our website as well. But we really love you just to enjoy worship with Sarah and the word from Pete. And another reminder that I forgot. This is why I'm doing this again. I did it once before. And that is that due to small groups starting to kick off, our Salt with U's, which we've been bringing you every single day, which has been quite amazing as a team, I think. We're actually going to drop it back just to the once on a Sunday, and we want to encourage you to connect in with one another through the week in other ways, and connect into the Sunday Salt with You as well. Thanks everyone. Really look forward to seeing you in person.
walk into the room, everything changes. Darkness starts to tremble at the light that you bring. When you walk into the room, every heart starts burning, and nothing matters more than just to sit here at your feet and worship you. We love you. never stop. Can't live without you, Jesus. We love you. Can't get enough. All this is for you, Jesus.
Hi guys, welcome to Sunday. This week God's been really challenging me and talking to me about how his culture is countercultural to the world. It's different to the world. In John 17, Jesus teaches us that we live in the world, but we don't live of the world. And if we're living of the world and living by the world's ways, that the things of the Spirit and the things of God start to grow dim in our hearts, start to go dim in our lives. We don't rely on them anymore. We don't need them anymore because we've substituted the things of God for something else. You know, in Isaiah 55, Isaiah writes, "My ways," saying God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are different and higher than our thoughts. And he goes on to explain the ways of God, that the ways of God are foolishness to the men and the women that don't know him, but they are life to those that understand who God is. I've been asking God over the last few weeks and months to just speak to me about what he wants to teach me and what's going on in the life around me. And what I've found is that as I've just been walking with him, he's been teaching me. So I was walking on the beach today, and I noticed that all these footsteps in the sand were going in multiple directions. There was multiple groups, there were single groups. There was even some footsteps that disappeared into the ocean, never to be seen again. And God started to speak to me about the different ways and the different paths that we choose in life. Sometimes we're walking alone. Sometimes we're on the sand walking alone. Sometimes we're in life walking alone, and it's sometimes hard. Sometimes there's times where we think we've been lost, like the steps going into the ocean, never to be seen again. And sometimes it's so chaotic. Sometimes there's so many footprints, so many paths running into each other, where things are just happening all the time. But I think what God was showing me is that there are different ways in life. There are different paths. There are different times. There are different seasons. But he's in it all. He's in the mess. He's in the silence. He's even in the loneliness. As I was walking further up the beach, I saw there was so much debris. There were so many dead trees. There were so many dead branches. There was so much barrenness on the beach. It was dry. It was lifeless. And he was showing me that there's seasons that we go through that are like that. They're barren. There seems to be nothing happening. There seems to be just deadness. There seems to be just nothing that is worth talking about or even grabbing a hold of. And he started to speak to me about out of the brokenness, out of the debris, we can build something that's quite beautiful. I walked a little bit longer along the beach, and there I saw this shelter that was made out of trees, sticks, twigs. It was this makeshift shelter. And it started to solidify what God was saying, that even out of dead things, you can make something work. You can make a shelter, you can make a life. And then he posted me this challenging question. And the question is this: are you living, or are you just surviving? Think about that. Are you living, or are you just surviving? And as I was pondering on this question, he reminded me of a time where he was walking along a dusty road. And in Matthew 21, verse 18, and let me read it to you. It says this: it says, "Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree in the distance by the road, he went up to it and found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, 'May you never fruit again.' And immediately the tree withered up." When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. How did the fig tree die so quickly?" they asked. And Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what I've done to the fig tree, but you'll be able to say to this mountain, 'Be thrown into the sea,' and it will be done. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask in prayer." Interesting bit of scripture, hey? Now, there's so much in this scripture, and I'm not going to go into it all because, him speaking to dead things and making them wither. Don't want to go there. But what I do want to explain is, Jesus was just wanting something to eat. He saw in the distance a tree, a big bushy tree. It looked like a fig tree. It had leaves like a fig tree, but it was fruitless. But it had no fruit. God was showing me that sometimes things look like something, but they're not. Sometimes we can look strong. Sometimes we can look like we're robust. Sometimes we can look like we want to be a certain way. But at close examination, we find out there's no substance to it. We actually find out that there's not much difference between the fig tree that we look like and the barren, broken sticks and trees on a scattered beach. This really challenged me, and I don't want to look at something, I don't want to look like something that I'm not. I don't want to live a way that is one way here and living like something over here. I don't want to say I'm his disciple and not have the substance of the disciple, not have that fruit of a disciple. It's easy to say who we are. It's easy to try and be something. But I think God is challenging me, and I just want to bring that challenge to you. And that is, he wants us to be authentic. He wants us to know who we are. He wants us to know whose we are. And he wants us to take hold of that in our hand. When we have faith in the world, we become like the barren fig tree without fruit. When all our decisions and conclusions come from what we naturally see, we become like that tree. See, God chose you and me to have vision and purpose, having hope in what he provides. And obviously he provides us everything we need, But he wants us to understand that he is the source. So how do we not look like a disciple, but actually be a disciple of God? I just want to give you 3 quick points. To me, this is what God's been showing me over the last month. Number 1, allowing him to speak to me, allowing him to speak to you. Take a walk and say, hey, God, let's walk together. Whatever you're doing, just allow him to speak. Let him speak through the paths, through the footsteps of a beach. Let him speak to you through the trees in a field. Let him speak to you through wherever you are. But say, hey God, we're going for a walk. And this time is with you and me. Come and speak into my heart. Come and speak to me. So that's number 1. Allow him to speak to you and take a walk. Go, get out of the norm and spend time with him. Number 2, don't pretend to spend time with him. Don't pretend to spend time with him. Don't just read a book and say that's spending time with him. Number 2, don't pretend to know him. Spend time with him and really know him. Spend time with God and really, really know him. I was in the Pleasant Way Hotel just the other day, and we were just talking to some of the guests that we've got staying there because they've been homeless and they're in temporary accommodation. And each person I met, God just started to speak to me in that interaction. See, don't pretend you know him. Start seeing him, hearing him in all that you do and all that you say. Number 3 is this: build your faith one step at a time. Just build it one step at a time. Start believing for things that are beyond your control. See, faith, as we know, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Let that evidence of the Spirit of God come and bring into your vision, into your life, what he wants you to do. That means we have to believe him for things beyond us. See, if I can do everything in my own strength, I don't need God. But every day, every single day I need him because we're stretching beyond, I'm stretching beyond myself. We're stretching as a church and a ministry beyond ourselves, because we could, if not, we're just like the Lions Club. We're just like a good club. But we're not a good club, we're a God club. And a God club steps out in faith, believing that he has us. So we can look at the situations in our life, the barren places, and say, hang on, I don't need you in my life anymore. I can speak to that barren tree and tell it to wither up in my life and say, I don't need that in my life. I can speak to it, because if I have the faith that Jesus is talking to, I can speak to those situations and tell them to be removed. I can actually speak to the mountain and say, hey mountain, I want you to remove yourself from my life. And if I have a deep faith, if I have a true believing in who he is, those mountains will be removed. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? It's not in my strength. It's me calling on his strength, and all I'm doing is saying, I'm doing what you tell me to do, God. I'm believing in what you say. I'm believing it. I'm not just hearing it. I'm not just thinking it could happen. But it's becoming real in me. I'm believing it now, Lord. I'm believing it now. And the main thing here, guys, when we believe God for things beyond ourselves, and we have faith and we see them come to fruition, we need to give him the glory. We need to give him the glory. It's not because I'm special. It's not because you're special. It's not because you're smart. It's not because you're so talented. It's because of him. I live because of him. I am because he is. So guys, I want to leave you with that today. So number one, allow him to speak to you. Take a walk, spend time with him. Number two, don't pretend you know him. Spend time with him and really know him. Number three, build your faith one step at a time. Start believing him for things beyond your control and give him the glory. Now we're going to break up into groups now if you're watching this with some other people. And there's 3 questions I have for the group. And I'm just going to say them now and then I'm going to put them up on this wall for you to see. The first question is this. What are some of the ways that are countercultural to the ways? What are some of your ways that are countercultural to the ways of God? That's a really good question. What are some of your ways? What are some of the things you do that are countercultural to the ways of God? Number 2, what debris, dead things, what debris or dead things does God want to remove and heal you from? That's a little bit challenging, but I think it's really good. So let's be honest with ourselves. What are the dead things that God wants to remove from my life and heal me from? Number 3 is this. What is God stretching you to have faith in right now? What is God stretching you to have faith for right now? It could be a living situation. It could be a family relative in your life. It could be anything. What is God wanting to stretch your faith in? And then I want to challenge you, just believe. Just believe. And whatever you ask in prayer, he'll do as long as you believe. God bless you. Have a great day. Discussion group questions. Number 1, what are some of your ways that are countercultural to God's ways? Number 2, what debris, dead things, does God want to remove and heal you from? And number 3, what is God stretching you to have faith for right now? Have an awesome week, guys.